Hey, what's up everybody? Evan here. Want to welcome you to my very first pickup video, maybe my last pickup video, who knows. I just thought I'd do it for a little fun. January was an awesome month for me. I picked up a lot of cool stuff, won a little money at the casino, so I blew a little bit on some games, and I think I got a couple good items that y'all might enjoy. Let's just get started. I guess we'll start with, how about we start with some literature? Video game pickup, let's start with some literature. Of course, I got the Legend of Zelda Hyrule Historia book. Got this off Amazon, pre-ordered it a couple months ago for 20 bucks. I had no idea it was going to be so big and so intense, and just, yeah, intense is the word. There's nothing that this book doesn't cover. It's going to provide quite a few hours of bathroom reading. I think my shits are gonna take a lot longer than they used to now that I have this book. What else? I picked up some Nintendo Powers randomly. These are off eBay, or like a couple bucks a piece. Volume 30, Final Fantasy 2. They all have the posters. I just started collecting Nintendo Powers as well. Probably about 20 of them now. We've got Metroid 2. 31, Volume 31, and Volume 32, which is Super Castlevania 4. And I also picked up Volume 137. It's a later one, but it's a Majora's Mask. I'm a big Legend of Zelda fan, if you guys didn't know. And also, back when I was in Michigan, I was at a thrift store and saw this for 99 cents. Had to pick it up. Why not? I don't even have the game, but 99 cents. And then also when I was back in Michigan, I was at a game store, and I've been wanting to get a copy of the Wind Waker just because it's pretty much the only console Zelda game that I don't own, even though it's by far my least favorite, and so I would never pay the going rate of 45, 50 bucks, you know, what people want for it. But I was actually at a video game store and noticed they had a copy sitting up on the shelf, and I asked the guy how much it was. He said $17. So, and it's not even the player's choice; it's the original for 17 bucks. I was like, I'll take it. It's got the manual's missing the cover, but it's got everything else. So, I thought that was a pretty good deal. Let's see. I got, of course, this is pretty neat. Spent my Nintendo points and got the gold Nunchuck. It's gonna go real nice one day when I display it with my Legend of Zelda Wiimote that I have. A pretty cool thing I got. This was off eBay. This was like 20 bucks. It's NES Satellite in box, so you can play 4 players on like Friday the 13th or World Cup Soccer, Super Spike V-Ball. I don't know. That's the only ones I know. Moving on, switch from Nintendo over to. Actually, no, we'll stick with Nintendo because this is one thing that I had to get. I got a Power Glove. Yes, it's so bad. I mean, let's just say that. In more ways than one. I mean, as Lucas said in The Wizard, it's so bad. But if you've ever tried to actually play games with this thing, yeah, it's bad. I remember back in college we had one, and we got it to work like one time on Rad Racer, and it actually it looked like it did in the movie The Wizard. We're like, oh my god, it's so cool. But it was a pretty good score. It came with the receiver and everything. It was like 30 bucks, so not too bad. Yeah, I'm just going to leave this on for the rest of the video. Why not? It's so bad. So bad. If I can untangle it. Alright, so switch gears a little bit. Got a couple consoles last couple weeks as well. A couple Craigslist scores that I was really happy about. Sega Saturn. Never owned this. Never even really played this growing up. But I got it for $50. It came with 5 games, controller, hookups, you know, all that good stuff. I'll show you the games that came with it. Nothing too great, just mostly common titles, but got a Virtua Fighter 2, fun game. Ultimate Mortal Kombat 3. SimCity 2000. It's missing the cover. Croc, Legend of Gobos. I actually popped this in, and it's kind of glitchy. Like some of the stuff, like the graphics were disappearing and stuff. And I noticed the controls were really weird. It was kind of like the controls on. Remember driving the car in Roger Rabbit on the original NES and how screwy that was? Yeah. This is like a Mario 64 style game with those kind of controls. Weird. NBA Jam TE, one of my all-time favorite video games. I mean, well, I can't say anything more than that. So this is actually pretty. You know, it's got this realistic scaling, so it's a little more true to the arcade version than the Sega Genesis or Super Nintendo. And then also Duke Nukem 3D, no manual, but classic game. Next console I got. This was the score, and this is many thanks to RRob78 on this one, because I was looking at this deal on Craigslist. I've been wanting to pick up a Turbografx 16 for a long time, ever since I was a kid. I only played it a couple times. My cousin had one, but he lived in New York, and I was like, wow, this is awesome. This is a great system box adventure. I don't really remember what else I played on it, but so the guy on Craigslist was asking $120 for Turbografx 16, a couple games, a couple just common games, and it's like, that's really not that good of a deal. I'm gonna see if I can, I don't think I'll just pass. And then RRob sent me a message. He's like, dude, you need to pick this up. I was like, I was thinking about it, but he's like, I didn't notice. I had no idea what it was. He said it came with a Turbo Booster Plus. I have no idea what that was. He's like, dude, the Turbo Booster Plus is worth a couple $100s on its own. So that's what that is. It allows you to hook up component, AVI, AV cords into it, and I guess it allows you to save your games too. So it's kind of rare. I looked it up. There's only like one on sale on eBay. I don't even think there were any on Amazon. So that was, I guess, a pretty good score. Here's the Turbografx, in good shape, and the games that it came with were Sports TV Football or TV Sports Football. I don't know which one comes first. And then Keith Courage and Alpha Zone. I know this was a pack-in game, so it's probably as rare as Mario Duck Hunt. Let's see what's next. Some newer games, some GameStop pickups. Yes, I know I do shop at GameStop from time to time. Sometimes you get some good deals. I got the God of War collection, 1 and 2. One of my favorite video game series. NCAA Basketball 09. Yes, I am a sports games junkie. This is actually the last college basketball game EA, or I think any other company has made. There's currently a lawsuit led by Ed O'Bannon, former player for UCLA. They're suing EA for using their likenesses and everything. So I don't know if they just stopped making the game because of that or because people weren't buying it, but it's a fun game. I really enjoy doing the season modes and the recruiting, and just, kind of adds like RPG element to your playing sports sim, so it's fun. Yeah, this game, it's called Folklore. I was reading about. It seems kind of fun. It's kind of like a adventure, Lord of the Rings style game. I'm sure. I haven't played it yet. Let's see. I got a copy of original Force Unleashed. I haven't played this game in a while, so I figured I played it on PS2 when it first came out, and I got this for, it was like $8, $10, so I figured I'd give it a shot. I know it's got more content than Force Unleashed 2. If you guys ever played that, it felt like you played like a third of a video game. It was awesome, but you could beat it in like a day and a half. This one's got a little more content, so probably pop it in from time to time. It's always fun to fuck around with the Force. Next up, we have Tiger Woods PGA 08 for the Wii. I love the Tiger Woods franchise, and it's always fun to play it on the Wii. It adds a little extra element to it, actually having to swing. And then Indiana Jones, Staff of the Kings. Have no idea if this game's good or not, but it was cheap, and it's Indiana Jones, and it's not Crystal Skull. So gave it a shot. Why not? Next up, how about a couple Game Boy Advance games? I got a boxed Super Mario Advance 4, Super Mario 3. This was like $10, which, you know, it usually sells by itself for more than that without the box and the manual, so I thought that was a pretty nice score. I got Gunstar Superheroes, one of the best Genesis games. I've been playing this a little bit. A little bit different than the Genesis version, but still fun if you're on the road and, you know, on a plane or whatever, popping your GBA. And then this one came in a lot with some Game Gear games that I'm going to show you a little bit later. Land Before Time, who knows? N64. Like I said before, I love sports games, especially NBA Jam style game. I got NBA Showtime for the N64. Awesome game. If you've ever played the arcade version, you know it's great. And I also picked up a copy of Blast Corps. Fun little game. I think it was a release. I think it was came out with the N64. I think it was released with the system. So, a couple Atari games. Finally got me a copy of Pitfall, one of my favorite games from my childhood. I used to just play this game for hours, you know, wondering, what? You could just play this game forever. There's no end. There's some time limit, but that was games back then. You didn't beat them, you just played them. And then Food Fight for the 7800. I haven't popped it in yet. I didn't have this game when I had an Atari 7800. That was my very first gaming system, but I never played this game growing up, and I still have yet to play it. But I hear it's supposed to be one of the best games on the system, so it was a couple bucks, so figured I'd give it a shot. Alright, let's move on to some Super Nintendo. Super Nintendo was also another system that I didn't have growing up that I got probably about 4 or 5 months ago. I picked up a Super Nintendo, so been trying to get some games, check them out, see what's good. I got Super Star Wars, so this finished. I already had the other two, Empire and Jedi, so I finished up my Star Wars trilogy, Super Star Wars trilogy. I've heard good things about this game. Mighty Morphin Power Rangers. Yeah, I heard people say it's fun. It's good beat 'em up. I did watch Power Rangers. I'm ashamed to admit it, I was probably a little old for it when it came out, 6th, 7th grade, but hey, what are you gonna do? Saturday Night Slam Masters, picked this guy up. Decent game. I played it at the arcade a little bit. I don't think the Super Nintendo version is quite as good as the arcade version is, but they never are. This came in a lot. Frank Thomas Big Hurt Baseball. Never played it. Probably never will. Also came in the same lot was World Cup USA '94. Yeah, probably never play it. I picked up. I'm a huge Detroit Pistons fan, Detroit sports fan, so I had to pick up Bill Laimbeer's Combat Basketball. One of my all-time favorite players. Game's probably horrible, but I had to get it. Also, going back to the whole NBA Jam thing, I got College Slam, which is basically the college version of NBA Jam. Okay, save the 3 best for last. I wasn't planning on doing that, but kind of just worked out that way. Start with Gradius 3. I only played it like once when I was a kid. I remember liking it, and I popped it in and played a little bit. The only thing I don't really like about it is when you die, you have to wait. It sets you back in the level a little bit. When you're playing shooters like this, you don't want to break in the action. I mean, you play a game like this just to sit and play for 15-20 minutes, and it's just the break in the action when you die. And also when you die in these games, like, you lose all your power-ups, and you might as well just play it till you die and then put it away and save it for another time. Next one, this is the one I've been playing the most since I picked it up a couple weeks ago, is Sunset Riders. I got it for $30, which isn't a crazy deal, but it's not like I overpaid for it. I don't mind paying a little bit more for if the game's good. Like, I don't like to buy really expensive rare games if they're shitty. I won't pay top dollar for a shitty game. But Sunset Riders is awesome. It's basically Contra in the Old West, so it's challenging. So far, I think I've made it up to level 4, so I haven't really, gave it as much time as I should try to beat it, but it's definitely a fun game to pop in and bust some ass. And the best of the Super Nintendo lot, and I feel like I got a pretty good deal on it, and this was actually at a retail store. I got Demon's Crest. Fantastic game. I think I paid $35 for it, and it usually goes for $60 plus, and this was at a retail store that has horrible prices for the most part. And I saw it was under glass with all the other Super Nintendo games, and I said, just a whim, I said, how much is Demon's Crest? And he's like, $35. And I was just like, really? So I picked that up. That was the same day I picked up Food Fight, and I think I got something else at that same store. I can't remember what. Let's see what else. Okay, so I mentioned the lot earlier that had that Frank Thomas and The Land Before Time. It was $5, and I'm trying to get a lot of Game Gear games. I had a Game Gear growing up as one of my favorite handheld. I mean, I never had a Game Boy. My buddy had a Game Boy. I had to get the Game Gear. So I picked up 3 box games. They're sports titles, but hey, what are you gonna do? They were like, it turned out they were like to less than $1 a piece. So I got NFL '95, Fred Couples Golf, and this is probably the coolest game of the lot. It's called Sports Trivia, and I'm a big sports trivia nerd. And this game it doesn't just throw questions at you. It's set up like a football game. You pick your play, you pick whether deep pass, short pass, run, and it asks you a corresponding question, difficulty based on what play you picked. So you gain yards whether or not you get the question right, and you actually play a full 60-minute game of football with just trivia questions, sports trivia questions. So I love it. That was like the best dollar I ever spent. And the other Game Gear game I got, classic game. Part of the Illusion series. There it is. Mickey Mouse, Land of Illusion. Awesome game. What else can you say about it? Let's see. I got one Genesis game this month. It's classic Super Monaco GP. I just saw it. It was $5 at one of my stores, and I was just like, I don't have it. I like the black box games, so picked it up. Moving on to the NES, my favorite system, my system that I collect for the most. Yeah, just NES is it for me when it comes to collecting. Picked this up today. I was just at the game store, just screwing around. It's a couple bucks. Rescue the Embassy Mission. I got Wheel of Fortune, starring Vanna White. I got Super C, classic, love it. Vice Project Doom. This is actually a good little game if you guys have never played it. It's fun. It's a side scroller, platformer, shoot 'em up, but it's got other types of gameplay. So I like games that have varied gameplay, and this is one of them. I got G.I. Joe, The Atlantis Factor. This completes my G.I. Joe Nintendo collection. Also, I'm trying to get all the Capcom games, so it kills kind of 2 birds with 1 stone with that pickup. This was the other game I got in Michigan when I picked up Wind Waker. We were gonna get it for my buddy for the Christmas party, but because this was one of his all-time favorite NES games, but he actually already had it, so I was just like, if he had it, my buddy was gonna buy it for him, and I was gonna. So I kind of like during the week I just asked him, you still play Super Sprint? Do you have it? Turns out he did have it, so I just kept it, bought it for my buddy that bought it for him. It's a good little game. It's kind of like RC Pro-Am before RC Pro-Am or Super Off-Road style. What else did I get? I got Star Wars Empire Strikes Back. Kind of a lousy game, but it's Star Wars. Like, if I won't buy a lousy game, I won't won't pay top dollar for a lousy game unless it's Star Wars. It has to do with Star Wars. Also, to go with my Power Glove, Super Glove Ball, I got a boxed copy of Bart versus the Space Mutants. This was like $8, and I see the game by itself go for a lot more than that, so I had to pick that up. And we're gonna get to my big splurge, the final pickup. I'm a big Punch-Out fan. I saw this on eBay. It's not something you see very often, but it looked cool, so I got it. It's actually a Famicom game. It's the special edition gold Punch-Out for the Famicom. I'm not going to tell you guys what I spent on it, but it's really cool. It was part of a contest in Japan, and I think they only made, it was like 10 or 20,000 copies of it. So I saw it. It was fairly priced, not too many bidders, and I said screw it and went for it. So that's one of my best, probably my best pieces. Not my best pickup of the month, but one of my best individual pieces. So happy to have it. That's everything? Yeah, that's everything. Shout out to RRob78, obviously. Thank you for the heads up on Turbografx 16. I look forward to seeing you in about a month from now. You and Syphic and Crazy Cubano, we're all going to kick it in Vegas. Hopefully do some game hunting, hopefully do some drinking, some partying, just playing some games. Hopefully we'll have a blast. Also in a couple weeks out here is the Level Up Expo. I actually have a flyer for it. It's not just strictly a video game expo. It's also like card games and all those other stuff. But hopefully, they have some good dealers, and I'll be able to find some deals there. So looking forward to that on the 16th of February. Yeah, I think that's it. Also, yeah, thanks to everybody that watched. It's been a blast getting to know some of you guys in the group on Facebook, and I look forward to meeting you guys in the future. Keep it real. Take it easy.